Peace to the gods and goddesses. We back with another one. The Overthinker Podcast, episode 6. Or episode 7, excuse me. Episode 7. We're on episode 7. And as we always do, we're gonna start off tonight with a moment of silence, and then we also gonna just start by just giving gratitude and just being thankful for the negative and the positive. Just being thankful for everybody in our life, our support systems, and different things of that nature. So just showing the appreciation and gratitude and just bringing that presence out here. But we're going to start with a moment of silence. So let's begin. All right. So as you see, the title today is Consciousness and the Law of Detachment. All right. So I'm gonna be honest. Last night we were getting ready to go. Somebody suggested something to study tonight, and I believe they spelt it wrong in the comments. So I didn't go on that path. I believe I found the word that they was talking about, but I'm not sure, to be honest. So I was having a hard time just figuring out what I wanted to come with tonight. And what came to me was consciousness and the law of detachment. And we're going to be a little bit of everywhere tonight because I was overthinking a lot tonight and just in my notes and just doing things as I do them. And so what we're gonna start with is is consciousness, right? What is it to be conscious? One thing that I've been having a big problem with the conscious community is we haven't been taking that word and standing on it, right? So when all right, let's just dive into the Google definitions. All right. I choose Google because everybody can go to Google, meaning that as you're listening, taking notes, whatever it is that you may be doing, you can go on Google and fact check me or choose whatever relative truth you want to go by based on what definition you choose, right? So I'm gonna go through a couple of them, 5 different ones, right? Conscious, having knowledge of something, right? Being aware, okay? Now, one thing about the conscious community is what? Is we are aware that something is what going against the people, the body, or we feel like there are things being done in the shadows that are going against the people, right? Or that's programming us, different things of that nature, right? That's one of the first steps of being conscious. This is from Google, right? Another definition. Conscious, to be conscious, aware of and responding to one's surrounding. Okay? So once we have the knowledge of something, all right, whether it's positive or negative, what's the next thing to do? Is to respond to what's going on, to your surroundings. And that's one thing that we really got to start doing in the conscious community is start having what application. That's why we're going to start going into the law of detachment, because we got to start detaching ourselves and getting so strung up on what people doing, how people treating us, this, that, and the third, and just do the work that it takes to build the society we want to see as a conscious community, as conscious people, as conscious beings. If we say we conscious, right? So let's get back into it. Painfully aware, sensitive to, right? Once you start taking this journey, right, what we call a spiritual journey, a conscious journey, your shadow work, different things of that nature, you start being conscious and aware of your surroundings, what's going on in your world. It start to be what? It start to get what? Painful. You start to get sensitive to it. You become painfully aware, like, dang, boy, every time I look at the news, I can't even, every time I look at a commercial, I see symbolism. Every time I go here, or you find out how you're thinking, how you're being programmed. And it becomes painful, not in the sense of painful where it's hurting, but painful like in the, dang, they duped me, they got me. They got all of us, right? Now, this is where it starts getting good with consciousness, right? And while the conscious community is so important, but we got to understand, and comprehend what we're representing. We cannot be a community, a tribe, an environment, a body of people, right? Give ourselves a title, and then we're not applying what we have titled ourselves to be. So if we're gonna be conscious, we got to understand what conscious is. Okay, so let's get into the fourth one. Deliberate and intentional. Okay, this is very important. Deliberate and intentional. We already know from the second definition that Google gives us. This is Google. We're not going nowhere special. We don't need to. Because truth lies in consistency and truth lies in lies. Because lies are consistent. Oh, truth is consistent. But the difference is, what's the difference? When you come talking about truth and lies and consistency, the lie what has to what? Keep going. It has to change, meaning what? Change over time. And in that change is what? Consistent. And then that way we can, oh yeah, you lying. Caught you. Last week you said this week you saying this. All right. So let's get back. Responding to one's surroundings, right? So we know that from the second definition. So the fourth is deliberate and intentional. So we got to be in responding to our surroundings as the conscious community. We have to be deliberate and intentional. Excuse me. That's what we was going on last in our previous episodes. Is how we have to be deliberate. We have to have discernment in how we moving out here in these streets, how we moving out here in society, how we moving out here in the field, how we moving out here in the jungle, in the concrete jungle. Wherever it is you may lie, we have to be intentional and deliberate in what we do. Because if we're not, we're being programmed. This is what it truly means to be conscious. It's to really say, okay, understand, be aware of having the knowledge of something. What is the knowledge of something? I am being programmed as a conscious being. I am being programmed as a conscious being. Because we are already conscious beings. Why? Because what we are aware of and responding to our surroundings. Right? That's before deliberate and intentional for a reason. Because we are already that based conscious beings, right? It takes a conscious in order to live in the environment that we live in. It shows in every animal, plant, being on the planet. It shows. We can't run away from it. Right? So deliberate and intentional. Now, this is the thing about being conscious. If you are not deliberate and intentional, right, with responding to your surroundings, being sensitive to or painfully aware of what's going on, that we are being programmed. This is just an example. This is not what we're saying, right? This is everybody knows what's going on at the end of the day. This is the fifth definition of consciousness. Directly perceptible to and under the control of the person concerned. What does that sound like? Sound like programming to me. Because who are the people concerned? Because that's just singular. It can say persons concerned. So we went through 1, 2, 3, 4 definitions of conscious, right? Being conscious, consciousness. And the fifth one tells us right there in our face that consciousness can what? Be directly what? Perceptible to and under the control of. So it tells us right here, just because we are the conscious community, or we claiming to be conscious, or we claiming this title, whatever the case, does not mean we are not perceptible of being under control. So that's why one of the things that I said that I push forward is we can't continue to play the blame game. And that's why we got to go into the law of detachment. We cannot continue to play the blame game when we ourselves as conscious beings are not doing what conscious beings are supposed to do, and other conscious beings are doing what they're supposed to do. We cannot be upset about people using laws and principles, how laws and principles are supposed to be used. And then me, myself, whoever it is in the community that want to point fingers, right? We ain't using the consciousness the right way. Or we using it only to a certain limit because we're being programmed or dumbed down to or belittled to only use it this far. It says it here, and this is from Google. So we look this up on our phone. You hit the translate more or not translate more, but show more. It's gonna put boom, 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 boom. And then we'll say in the conscious community, Oh, Google be telling lies. How is Google telling lies if it gathers information? And it gathers and gives what it receives. That's the law of giving and receiving. So we can't be mad at these certain entities, bodies, organizations, ministries, whatever we want to call them, all of them meaning the same thing. We can't get mad at these industries for using these laws and principles the right way, negative or positive, because the law of karma exists. So if you're doing the negative, you're going to get what? Something negative back. It happens. We see it every day in our day-to-day lives. So we have to remember being conscious is not just, oh, a title because I'm part of a community to say I'm woke or awakened, or I use words a little differently, or I point the finger, but I'm not really doing nothing out here in society. We not conscious. We conscious. Let me just say this. We're conscious, but what? We're the fifth definition of conscious. Right? We got the one and the two, right? We might even have the three, but we just skipped the four, deliberate and intentional, right? Because we are so what? Directly perceptible to and under the control of somebody. Our consciousness is. So by that, that's why people say, oh, we being programmed, this, that, and the third. We ain't gotta go too deep. We ain't gotta go find the Latin book dictionary. We ain't gotta go to the Harvard census. You go straight to Google and we just go dive in. We just go dive in. Go dive in the waters because the waters are deep. You don't know what you're gonna find. But I know treasure down there. So if we dive deep enough, we're gonna find something. Right? So remember consciousness, right? Conscious, being conscious, knowing, having knowledge of something, aware of or responding to one's surroundings, right? Third, painfully aware, sensitive to. Four, the most important one, deliberate and intentional. All right. Fifth, what's going on now, directly perceptible to and under the control of the concern of the person concerned. All right. Now, for being conscious, one of the things that it was saying multiple times in consciousness, or just being conscious, a conscious being, is what? Aware. See, this is how I look up my thing. Like when I do my studying, if I see a certain word and it's popping up more than once, okay, boom, why are you popping up? All right, you're not just a regular word or a regular boy or a regular girl. Let's see what's going on here or whatever in between, right? It says aware, equal, having knowledge or perception of a situation or fact. All right. Situation, absolute truth, and what? Fact. Right. The reason why I say situation, absolute truth, because situations can arrive from laws and principles being used. That's how situations come about. Right. Facts is relative, man reasoning. Okay. So you're aware of both simultaneously, spiritual, physical, right? Or what man reasons, whatever, however you want to put it. It's still the as above, so below. Law and principle in that. Okay. So being conscious is that you have to be really aware of what's going on, right? Having knowledge, but even before knowledge, having the perception, meaning having the perspective. If you don't have the perspective to okay, you got the knowledge, but you ain't got the perspective to put with the knowledge to really see what's going on, so you can move the right way in these streets, these jungles, this society, however it is, with intention and being deliberate, right? We're not putting ourselves in the best what situation. We're not creating our own facts, meaning we're not creating agreed upon information within the conscious community. So when we go out here in other worlds, in the other world or in other realms, other planet, I say this because it's all the same thing, right? So when we go out here in the world, we know how to communicate with people like us, and we know how to communicate with people that's not on when we say the same conscious level. Right. And that's all having to do is how we're moving in our spirit, how we're moving with our breath. Right. Because the breath is what activates your consciousness on this realm. Right. So we just have to remember, right, in the conscious community, if we're going to call ourselves conscious community, we have to really understand, comprehend what the word really means so we can be deliberate and intentional and have discernment in how we moving out here. All right. So we just got to remember that's what we got to do. All right. Now, one of the things I was overthinking of was this word inner, right? Or in, right? The prefix in. Now there's a whole, we're gonna go off, right? So one of these things that before we get into the law of detachments is inner, right? Inner standing, right? We even use what's another one? One of the words we use was individual, but that's a different prefix than in, right? Then the Latin, um I can't even say the word right now. Preposition, excuse me. I think I said that right. Preposition or preposition. All right, I hope I said that right. So you got the English and you also got the Latin. All right. So in the Latin, in means into, toward, within, induce, right? One of the words that they chose to give an example was induce, right? So induce, succeed in persuading of influence someone or something, right? To bring about, to give rise, right? So a lot of the things that a lot of people like to go to is back to the Latin meaning of things because of the people that made the language, right? And when I say this, and when you start to study words, you start to see the difference in the German and the Dutch way of saying things or the meaning of things, right? The meaning of things. Okay. So I went to this because we always got to, everything starts within, right? Into. The reason why it starts within is because, like in the Latin definition of in, it means toward something, right? Because once you start with the inner side, right, what's in you, your mental, working on yourself, whatever it is that it takes to start building what's inside of you, then you can push forward. Then you can go toward really what you're looking to get to. Because you have to what? Become the person, become the thing, become the being that you want to be in order to fulfill what you want to fulfill. Right? You can go back into my later episodes where we were going in on last night, being, belonging, and becoming, and then the night before that, purpose in your truth. So you can understand why I'm saying it like that, right? Because we have to understand that when we go into the law of detachment, right? We got to understand that when we go into the law of detachment. If you haven't seen any of my previous episodes, go watch those episodes because everything is bouncing off of each other. And then it helps you, it gives you the understanding of why I'm speaking like this when we coming on this topic here. Okay. So let's get into detachment now. All right. Let's get into detachment. All right. One of the books that we coming out of tonight is The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success. All right. This is a book that came out before. If you want to go see, I got posts about it and different things of that nature to find the title. The author is Deepaka Chopra. I'm always butcher that name every single time I say it, but if y'all can find it, at least y'all have reference. Okay. So the law of detachment, okay? It says the sixth spiritual law of success is the law of detachment. The law of detachment says that in order to acquire anything in the physical universe, you have to relinquish your attachment to it. This doesn't mean you give up the intention to create your desire. You don't give up the intention and you don't give up the desire. You give up your attachment to the result. Okay? Now, the reason why I say this is because, and I'm going here is because in the conscious community, we like to attach ourselves to the result that we're looking for. Oh, we need this, we need that, we need this. And all our leaders is putting it in our face every day, putting it in our face every day. This, that, and the third. This is what we need. Oh, this how society should be ran. Oh, the Republicans ain't doing this right. They ain't doing this right. Did you know that you can start your own political party? You don't need to. You don't have to do what they do in the normal world of things. It's it's a whole thing. Let me say it like this. we are beings of pure creativity. Meaning, once you fully become the conscious being that you are, and you start to deprogram yourself, get out the fifth definition of consciousness back into the fourth, right? Deliberate and intentional. Then you can start to really have freedom. Freedom is not free. Freedom is doing what you want to do when you want to do it at the time you want to do it, because regardless, you got to pay a price for what you want to do. You got to pay something for what you want to do, because it takes action, it takes energy, it takes effort, it takes motion, right? And then for every cause, there's an effect, right? So everything has its price. As above, so below. That's a price, right? That's a sacrifice. That's not just a reflection, okay? It's not just a reflection, all right? So understanding, getting ourselves away from the result that we want, we have more time to focus on the work. That's the whole point of the law of detachment. Not to be like, oh, I'm gonna forget about this, and then I'm gonna go over here and smoke some trees. I'm gonna go over here, chill with my dogs, do this, and then I'm gonna work 3 hours on this, go work my 9 to 5, and I still ain't achieved what I wanted. I've been listening to the same leaders and the same people on TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, or whoever it is, just listening to them, and I think it's all good because they sound good while they doing it. But when you go out here in the real world, ain't nothing going on but gentrification, inflation, and a threat in a conspiracy, or a Notre Dame. All these Notre Dames talking about it's finna be end times. It's a star over here, Nibiru over here. They finna come over here. They finna save us. They not finna save us. They finna kill everybody. It's finna be a flood, a earthquake, destroy everybody. Volcanoes finna. Man, don't nobody know what's going on out here. Everybody's so attached to everything that's going on, instead of just detaching and just doing the work to build a better society for ourselves, better safe places for ourselves, getting us to the singularity point so we can live the life that we want to live as conscious beings on the plane of creativity and be infinite creators, because that's who we are. They have programmed to believe us that the life that we live in is life. No, the life that we live in is somebody else's narrative that they want us to live, so it benefits them however it benefits them, because everybody has their personal agenda. Everybody has their group agenda. Everybody has their community tribe agenda. There's nothing that's going on the planet where nobody has no type of agenda. You're going to wake up in the morning, or you're not going to wake up in the morning, or you're going to get off the live, or I'm going to get off the live, and we're going to have an agenda that we're going to be trying to achieve throughout the day. That's why we have to be deliberate and intentional as conscious beings in how we moving out here. Because it's people on the back end, like we said, that's trying to control our consciousness. So we got to start detaching from what's going on out here. Detach from the programming by, okay, boom, I ain't programmed no more. I ain't got to think about it anymore. Now let me do the stuff that people that's not programmed do. Go out here and create, build society the way we want to see it. We put our narrative, right? We put our narrative on the world that we live in. We leave our fingerprint to show that this is an abundant world, to show that this is a creative environment. This is a creative realm. We are creative beings. We are beings of pure potentiality, right? We are energy beings, right? We are spirit beings, right? So at the end of the day, we have to remember that applying the law of detachment, which we will go into, is going to be key, because action is key to everything. There is no positive and negative without the force, the action of them colliding, right? Let me say it like this. There is no positive and negative without positive taking the step forward. In any direction. Let me say it like that, because you can't have a negative without a positive. And that's why positive will always outweigh the negative, because you have to step forward in order to go back. You cannot step forward and go back at the same time. All right. So we have to start to really understand, comprehend what we are. Okay. And that's why we're doing what we're doing. Okay. So let me continue reading real quick. All right. It says, this is a very powerful thing to do. The moment you relinquish your attachment to the result, combining one pointed intention with detachment at the same time, you will have that which you desire. Anything you want can be acquired through detachment because detachment is based on unquestioning belief in the power of your true self. See what I'm saying? So it's all right. So this is what it's saying. I hope y'all understand it. All right. Are y'all drifting? Are y'all coming with me? Y'all tracking, right? So as we detach, right? I'm gonna read the last thing. I want to reread the last thing before I say what I'm gonna say. It says, anything you want can be acquired through detachment because detachment is on based on the unquestioning belief in the power of your true self. Okay? In the power of your true self. What is your true self? From the first episode, we went over who you are, right? At first, second, third, all of it. You are pure potentiality. You are infinite creativity. Once you detach yourself, things can start creating. It creates once you ain't thinking about it. Let me ask you this. I don't know who's a gardener. Most of the time, you're not sitting there watching the plants grow. Most of the time when they're growing, you sleep. You come out, it's like, oh man, the flowers done bloomed today. Let me go out here and water them. You weren't thinking about it. You went out there, you planted, you put the fertilizer down, you put your manure down, however you plant, you got your compost, did whatever it is, right? Put it down, blah, 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 put the seed, boom, boom, water it, boom, you did the work, boom, you let it go. Now the sun, all the other elements, the ether, everything, the soil, the bugs, everything that's supposed to fulfill its purpose in life, to do whatever it was for those plants, fulfilled its purpose without you thinking about and being attached to the mango that you was going to get when the tree was done. No, you detached yourself from it. You just went out there, watered it when you needed to water it, and you went on about your business. And then one day, right, you came out there and all of a sudden you seen the mango and you was like, all right, I'm gonna eat this mango today. It's finally here. I got my own mangoes out my own yard. The day has finally come. The power of detachment, right? And I'm blending these two titles together because as the conscious community, we just got to start detaching ourselves. Once we start detaching ourselves from the result that we're really looking for, we're going to get the result because we're going to actually be in the communities, in society with each other as individuals, as people, as beings, doing the work that it takes to build the society that we want to see. Right? And now when we say this stuff, this ain't saying we can't go out here and have whatever fun or do whatever we want to do. Right? That's why, and that's one of the things why I say there ain't nothing wrong with the world that we live in, right? Because at the end of the day, people are just doing what people do, right? We can't, we live in America, we live comfortable to the point where if you put yourself in position, you can be doing all right. Yeah, you got to deal with inflation. Yeah, you got to deal with this. You got to deal with that. You got to deal with this. You got whatever it is, right? But everybody dealing with something. So at the end of the day, right, we can still go out here and live what we call living our best life. But if we conscious and we say this is going on in the world, this is going on, then we got to really start being intentional and deliberate in what we're doing and how we move. Right? We just can't keep blaming rappers and other people and this person and that person and all these different. We can't keep blaming these people. We can't keep blaming people for what we feel like they should be doing or blaming the white supremacy or blaming the Jim Crow or blaming what else you want to blame? Whatever. The president, the Democrats, the Republicans. We can't keep blaming old boy Island out there. Like, we can't keep doing all of this, because if we keep pointing and being so attached to the conspiracy or the result or the crisis that's supposed to come or that's inevitable and all of this stuff, it's gonna come regardless. So why are we attaching ourselves to something that comes regardless? Right? Why are we attaching ourselves to negativity when negativity is here? Because positive's here, right? So why do we keep attaching ourselves? We gotta detach, detach. And once we detach from this, then we can actually start to put into action to see the society that we want to build. Because one thing about this game that we playing, right? The whole point of the game is to get to a singularity point. That's why one of the things I say, I'm starting to realize, I should say, is that we are still going through a reset. People say, oh yeah, we fall. Now, Anunnaki finna come here. I'm talking about the conscious community, mainly the black conscious community. You got some other people from different sectors that's in there too, whatever the case. But at the end of the day, we don't know. Like, that's why one of the best quotes I ever heard from Socrates is, all I know is I know nothing. That's an awesome philosophy to go by. Don't put all that pressure on your back trying to know everything. Right? Knowledge is the same thing as being aware of, to be conscious of. So take the information and apply the information how you want to apply the information, or apply the laws and principles how the laws and principles are supposed to be applied. So in doing this, we got to remember that all information is great information, negative or positive. But what's more importantly is what's the application that we doing behind the information? What's the action that we putting in behind the information? What's the action that we putting in behind calling ourselves or being in the community, whichever it is? Right? You can't be in a spiritual community and then we wanna bash other religions because supposedly religion is all of this evil and all of this bad and all of this, that, and the third. Nah, what are we doing? You can't be conscious in doing that, but not making it coexist and building off of it. But then you want to you want to try to convert or do this, do that, Man, listen, we got to get out the blame game. Everybody's doing what they're supposed to do. They're fulfilling their purpose, regardless if they know they are or not. Regardless if they feel like this ain't their purpose. I'm like, oh, this can't be the purpose of my life. It gotta be, because you're doing it. That's one thing, like we get confused through this programming, and we're programming ourselves. See, the thing is, it's like we are beings of pure creativity, right? Of infinite creativity, of pure potential, excuse me, right? But what we in is like a Pandora's box of it. It's like Pandora's box, right? Somebody let us in, and however you want to get down, you can get down. Like, literally, however you want to get down, you can get down. And when it's over, it's over. Meaning, when your breath cut off, your activator cut off, you out. So, and if you actually think about that, is that not what's going on from birth to death and everything in between, the negative and the positive on both sides of the spectrum? You see the polarity, right? You see the bias, right? You have CNN, you have Fox, you have Republican, you got Democrat, you got red, you got blue, you got hot, you got cold, you got white, you got black, whatever that means, right? You got sun, you got moon, you got sky, we got dirt down here, earth. So what we see is we're here in this whole creative foundation, creative plane, this canvas to create on. And what we see is are people like me and you creating, making up their narrative and implementing it into society. And how, as they're implementing their narrative in society, it's programming society. It's programming who we are, right? As much as they don't even believe they're they're programming you. Right now, I know I'm here, part of the program, programming you. Not negatively. I'm trying to do it in a positive manner, but it's still programming. We see, that's the thing. We have to what? Reprogram ourselves. We have to transform ourselves. We have to evolve ourselves. We have to adapt and evolve, right? It's all of these things mean the same thing. Just because somebody else is programming you doesn't mean you cannot cut off the programming and start watching another program to reprogram you, to retransform you, right? To renew your mind, to renew your spirit, right? And the way you talk, the way you breathe. We'll be so conscious to the point where we'll run away from the word programming. Oh, you using the word programming, man. What you trying to say? Or they brainwashing us. Well, you better brainwash yourself. Because who else? Because what else gonna happen? You go out here talking to trees, the trees gonna brainwash you. You go out here talking to dolphins, the dolphins gonna brainwash you. Go out here, talk to people, people gonna brainwash you. It's inevitable. We cannot run away from it. So what we have to do is get more deliberate and intentional in how we move, what we do, what we want to implement, how we want to leave our fingerprint, right? Whether it's for society, for our family, for ourselves, whatever that means, because you really can't do nothing really for yourself. Because everything you do for yourself, it takes somebody else for you to even do it for yourself. That'll hit you on the back end. Once you wake up in the morning, you realize it takes other people to get whatever you need. So that's my overthinker rant for the night. All right. So detachment. Let's get to the Google definition of detachment, right? Okay. Detachment. It says the state of being objective or aloof. Negative, positive. Objective, we'll get into that. Aloof, not friendly, forthcoming, cool and distant. Now, I like this word aloof. It's my first time really getting in it. You get what I'm saying? But it says not friendly or forthcoming, meaning I'm not telling everybody what I got going on. I'm not trying to let everybody know. See, the gurus will tell you, go to the mountaintop and let everybody know what you got screaming. Now they getting smart. Now they got to be like, okay, people realize that ain't working no more. So we got to tell them the truth. Or they just finding out this is what it is. That's why a lot of things it say just move in silence. That's why the Bible say go in prayer and meditation. Because it's not the fact that it's trying to get you to bow down to something or this, that, and the third. No, it's trying to get you some clarity. That's what it's trying to do. It's trying to detach you from something because it needs your mind to be clear, your mental state to be clear, so it can connect the proper way to the ether, right? To your bio, aroma, or aura field, right? That connects everything, right? This stuff is we got to get it. I hope y'all track. I hope y'all following, right? So aloof. It say detachment, the state of being objective or aloof. All right, aloof, not friendly. Not friendly does not mean you being nasty to somebody. It just I'm not that cordial or friendly with you. That's it. Don't take it the hard way. Or let's go back into the second term with that aloof or second meaning, cool and distant. Detach yourself. Just be cool and distant. Right, man, I ain't seen you around. Or, man, you ain't talked about whatever it is that you was mentioning the other day. Yeah, man, I'm just letting it be for right now. But you in the back end working. So you see how that works? Cool and distant. You ain't thinking about it. Somebody bring it up. Hey, man, hey, you know what I'm saying? It's working. Or don't say nothing about it at all. I ain't really been thinking about it like that. I just been working. Just that simple. The flip side of that was objective, right? Objective equals actions intended to attain or accomplish, right? So you see how detaching yourself, you still are achieving what you are going to achieve. You just not thinking about the objective. That's why I got objective there and aloof there because of the law of detachment. That's why I say you can go to Google for these things, but once you start to get the laws and the principles, then you can really go to the information and be like, okay, I see how y'all saying this now. I'm breaking it down. That's why what's the Black Law Dictionary, people be running into it, right? Because the laws gonna tell you what's going on. The principles gonna tell you what's going on. Because laws is what give us access. Laws is what give us the rights and the liberties. It's the laws, whether man law or universal law, relative truth or absolute truth. It doesn't matter because relative truth is built on absolute truth. And we can't run away from it. We can't run away from it, no matter what we want to do. That's why people can come on here and say, well, we were saying that time is an illusion and time is man-made. How is it both? How is time man-made and an illusion? It doesn't work, but it does. It does. Because it's absolute and it's relative. Man's reasoning and universal laws, or whatever you want to call it, the all laws. Okay? So conscious community, right? If I had a message to the conscious community, we have to start detaching ourselves. Detaching ourselves so we can get back to what having knowledge of something that which we already do, right? Being aware of and responding to one's surroundings. Okay? Painfully aware and sensitive to. Meaning that once you go through the first two definitions, that third one, you got to really start getting to the point. See, some of us got it, right? I talk to people and people be in my comments, they be like, man, forget the government, fuck the government, however they want to say it, excuse my language. And man, this money ain't real. Oh, they owe us this. This money, oh, they took our land. Man, forget America, this, that, and the third. So what that is as a conscious being, what you are feeling is you're becoming painfully aware, sensitive to what? Sensitive to what though? The information. Because I messed up a little bit in one of my previous episodes in the age of Aquarius. One of the things I've been telling people about the age of Aquarius is that we have already been in the age of information. There have been books, libraries, and different things for years, for centuries, for decades. It's been information. Information never left. The difference is with this age and the recycling of this age is the access to the information, meaning how fast can you get to the information that you need in order to apply it, right? Now we take information as a form of entertainment, right? But now we trying to reverse that and get this information back into a form of application, right? That's why when people give you the information, that's why when people give you an application, they give you the application, hey man, fill out your information right here. I wonder why. Because information is supposed to be applied. It's not supposed to be a form of entertainment. Okay? So we start to get painfully aware of what's going on, right? Because we're starting to have knowledge of the fifth one on top of that, which we start to be that we are perceptible of being under control, are being under the control of. Excuse me, right? Perceptible to and under the control of, right? So then we become painfully aware of that and sensitive to that. But the fourth one is where we have to really start to tap into, like I was saying earlier, being deliberate and intentional in how we move as a conscious community, as individuals within the conscious community, in order to implement what we want to see in society. This is what they scared of. Listen, when we call these elites, they get happy. They smile. You know why? Because you still programmed. That's why I don't even like to call them elites. The people that's at the top, the regular people like me and you, that's using laws and principles the way they're supposed to be used, they don't want people to know who they are, what they are, how powerful they are, because it cuts the whole narrative, or it starts to take away from what they have built, right? Meaning, however much money, the cash flow, and all of this stuff that they got going on with this currency and all of this fraud, it's a lot of stuff that's going on that we know of as conscious people, right? Conspiracy theorists, right? That they know we know the information of, but they know we not moving in society in applying the information, or providing application to the information the way that it needs to be applied in society, to really make them say, to really make them be like, oh, okay, man, they got us. But every day they wake up, they like, they still program, keep them going. And that ain't got nothing to do with us working a 9 to 5. A 9 to 5 don't have you programmed. There's people out here working a 9 to 5 and it's their dream job. It's just a matter of fact that you ain't got your dream job if you don't like your 9 to 5. It just is what it is. Or you need to find what it is that you want to do in your life. Just go live your life, have fun, right? So that's why them people be licking their chops at the top. It ain't the fact that even when we go out here in the streets, right? They say, oh, revolution, you go out here, we're not gonna take it, all that stuff, right? It doesn't do anything because it doesn't change society. What happens is it's new faces that get back into position and start to implement the same old things that got us here in the first place. How do we? What tells us that? History. That's history. When I say history is part of the what? Programming. That's why detachment is so important, because you're supposed to detach from the past too. Matter of fact, let's read a passage. Right? Let's read a passage. Like, I don't have to really say like these things that like come into my head, right? I ain't gotta be like channeling or be just, you know what? Let's just take some information somebody else wrote, a person that looked like us. Let's just take what they said based on some information they received from another person that looked like them. See how information working here and who got to relate this stuff? All right, now let's look at this. Okay, it says, in detachment lies the wisdom of uncertainty. In the wisdom of uncertainty lies the freedom from our past, from the known, which is the prison of past conditioning. I'm gonna read that to y'all one more time, because we got to get it. Like, the power of creativity. Once you start to really know who you are, and then know who you're surrounded by, and be like, oh, I'm around all these powerful beings, and I ain't out here trying to put my spin and creativity on whatever it is, or get behind somebody that I like their spin and creativity on, in the sense of what I want to see out here in the community. That's why it's important to, I ain't even gonna get into that. Let's just reread, right? It says, in detachment lies the wisdom of uncertainty. In the wisdom of uncertainty lies the freedom from our past, from the known, which is the prison of past conditioning. What is history? What is history? That's past conditioning. What is conditioning? Conditioning is getting you prepared for something. Because when I coach, right, I condition my players. When I condition my players, I'm getting them ready for what? The game. Because the game is usually a little bit tougher than practice unless you practice tougher than the game. It continues to read. It says, in our willingness to step into the unknown, the field of all possibilities, we surrender ourselves to the creative mind that orchestrates the dance of the universe. Right? There go the mind and universe again. Can't have mind without universe entering into it. That's why one of the sayings that it says, we in the mind of God, or we in the mind of the Most High, or we are in the mind of the All. Because in quantum physics or hermetics, it says what? You cannot have mind without the universe. Right? I always forget his name, but one of the a preacher from back in the 70s, I forget his name. One day I'm gonna remember his name, but I don't remember now. His message was God lies in your imagination. Where does creativity start? Right? One of the things that I put even on the creator, I'm gonna bring back the law of detachment to the creator real quick for y'all. All right. Now watch this. A lot of us want to say, okay, well, where is God? This, that, and the third. God coming back. However, we use God, whatever name you want to use, known by many names, right? The creator. Once you create something, and it's a finished product, you usually what? You leave it. You created it. You sell it. You give it to others to enjoy. You give it to others for service. You give it for others. You complete it. It's an artwork. You put it on your wall so you can enjoy it for whatever bliss or pleasure it was meant for. And you detach yourself from that because the result is now finished. The work is now done. So if there was a creator being, and this is creation, right? And everything lies in creativity, and everything is creativity and everything is creation, then there must be a creator. The thing that we don't understand are laws at times, but the law of detachment tells us right where the creator is. We're detached. Why? Because creation is already present and already has this essence into the creation. So why would I need to be there in order for my creation to thrive when I can go out here and create other beautiful pieces of artwork? It's not saying that we alone. It's not saying that we abandon. It's saying that a creator never stops creating. Creativity is infinite. It's the pure potentiality that exists in all of us. That's why it says in the likeness, right? Let's make them what? In our likeness, in our image. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? Because in some people, creativity, that could have been dogs that talk like humans and walk like humans. So what are we really talking about then when we talk about likeness and image, right? We're talking about creativity, right? Understanding that you are the creator. The essence is you on your heart. The law is where on your heart, right? Because the essence is within you. That's why when my boy Bobby Hemmett was going in, when he was saying what? The mother, sacrifice herself, right? To what? Make us. And we ain't just talking about black people. We can say everything started off black, but bam, we got every other color here now. So it ain't just that. It's everybody. It's a whole interdimensional thing that the essence of the creator lies into. That we are the what creators, God beings. We are the all, the people. That's who we are. And the faster we start to see that, the faster we can get and build the world that we want to see. The faster we get and see the singularity that we want to see. Through accepting and coexisting with one another because of the essence and the power that lies with one another. Can't be mad at the people at the top for being what they want. And the thing is, they not even being selfish. They just using laws and principles in order to achieve their agendas. And by doing this creatively, they've been able to be what we call the 1%ers or the 0.5 or the 0.111, whatever you want to call them. Boule, the whatever name, the owls in the eyes, whatever you want to say. At the end of the day, they're just people until we see otherwise. They talking about down here in Miami. Oh, the aliens down here in Miami. Police got the streets roped off for an alien. First off, let's be real. It's not a movie. This not a movie. If aliens was dropping, if I'm police officer, I'm not there to save nobody. I'm not driving in my chopper, my Cooper, my trooper, whatever it is. I'm not going to where the aliens at. You know where I'm going? I'm going to my family. With all the guns from the station. That's where I'm going. Any logical person with common sense, if it's a real threat, where society and humanity is in war with an interdimensional, interstellar being and it's showing face, I'm not going to the problem. I don't care if you paying me whatever you paying me. I'm going to my family. I got to deal with humans alone trying to make it back to the house. And y'all finna talk about it's 3 whatever beings out here rolling around and people out there with flip phones and camera phones. Get out of here, bro. We're not that desensitized. Let me say it again. We are not that desensitized. I know they won. That's what's funny about it. Because, see, we got to understand the people at the top, they play both sides. They don't have a side and be like, oh, we're going to let the conspiracy. No, what they going to do, see, this, we got to put ourselves in position. We got to understand the art of war. That's why information is so important. Distraction, that's all it is. You already know, Orange. All right, so if you at the top, you ain't got no sides. The only side I'm on is laws and principles, sticking to my agenda. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play both sides. I'm going to play the tyranny, I'm going to play the tyrant, and I'm going to play the savior. Because it's creative to do so. I can create it. How do we know this, though? It says if you want to go to Islam, this is start there. We ain't even got to jump to the Bible. Islam, Allah. Allah, who is Allah? Allah, that's the all. Right or wrong? The all is what? Good and evil. The light and dark. In the Bible it say, I am good, I am evil, I am light, I am dark. I'm the one who created the sun and the moon. The winds in the heavens and the waters and the. So the creator playing both sides. The one that created us, put us in the situation in the realm that we in right now. They're playing both sides. Well, how you feel about that? Religious, spiritual person, whoever you want to be, a Satanist, a Christian, whatever it is. It's created by the same thing. So why it's called the all, the unbound one, the one that ain't even here. But it's in you. And you don't even realize how powerful you are. That's why I just like, that's why I be thinking to myself, I just laugh, because I be in meditation, I be in my mindful states, just in moments of silence, wherever I might be. It might be in the car, I might be in the grocery store, I might be in the mall, I could be watching a movie, right? Once you get to that level where you can just shut off everything and really tap into what's going on, you start to really get information from just, that's why I say intuitively thinking from the information that's here. You start to create your own information from within, but you're not really creating something that's really new. It's you're creating a confirmation in a sense. So once you see the information or see someone else talking about it, you're confirmed. So you know that you ain't crazy out here. So you just think to yourself like, dang, well, I'm a fool. And then you see somebody, oh, I wasn't crazy. I was saying the same thing I'm thinking. I was looking at them the same way. I know I ain't the crazy one. So that's how this works, man. So the law of detachment is very important. That's my one part two of the overthinking rant. Y'all got me again tonight. So detachment is so important because once we start looking at detachment, this is one of my favorite laws is because the law of detachment shows us that, like it said in the book, like I can't even like I can't make up or give y'all something where I'm like, oh yeah, that's me. No, it's my boy, Copa, Chopper, however you pronounce him. I apologize for butchering the author name. But it's what is written in the book. And it says right here, anything you want can be acquired through detachment because detachment is based on unquestioning belief in the power of your true self. But we gotta know who our true selves are though, right? First off, your true self is an illusion. It's an illusion. It's not a distraction. It's not a reality. It's an illusion, meaning it's an illustration, right? It's an illustration. It's an illusion. It's something that is wavy material. It's a mirage. It's all like kind of blending to one. Then once you get there, you don't know if it was there, if it wasn't. That's what this is. It's wave particles manifesting itself, right? But they are manifesting through laws and principles. They are not attached to the other particles and waves that's out here trying to create. They not attached to them. They're not concerned with a negative wave or particle. Look, electron is not concerned with a proton or a neutron. You know why? They ain't even touching. They just doing their work. They just whatever we gonna do, everything in motion. Hey boy, everything in motion. I don't even care if you going the other way, bro. I accept which way you going, but just make sure everything vibrating in motion. Atom. That's what we call them. Oh, Adam. Thought it was a coincidence. First man in the Bible named Adam. Egypt talking about atom. Come on, man. It's just everything in motion, vibrating, nothing touching. Everything detached. I'm supposed to be touching the book, but it's force in between my finger and the book that's giving me the feeling of what? Touch. All detachment though. That we perceive this illusion as all attached and everything is detached. Everything is making it work because it's not touching each other. It's not thinking about the end result. It's just doing the work to get the result. That's it. Once the end result comes, it's here. The work is done. Sayonara. I'm gone. Peace. So the conscious community, we were saying, the conscious community, what time is it? Oh, they're a little bit over tonight, y'all. But I came on late, so I don't mind going a little bit over. So just with the title today, consciousness slash the law of detachment, I put those two together so as the conscious community, we can start to really comprehend, understand, and understand how we supposed to be moving out here. See, a lot of the things, man, I don't shun nobody, man. I accept everybody for who they are on a non-judgment scale. And the reason why I say that like that is because I listen to all our leaders. I take notes on all our leaders. They say beautiful things. They say things that we need to hear. Don't get me wrong. But when it comes to application, besides making themselves look good, where is what y'all talking about? And that's why I had to come to the people, because I know I ain't gonna be able to do everything by myself. I know it takes, I know for one, I know where one or two come together, anything is possible. And I know for a fact, if we talking about the people, what y'all want to do, and we can go get it done. But we need to know, right? We need to know what's going on, right? We need to know the information, right? We need to know, when I say the information, we need to break down the information so we can actually understand this information, so then we can apply it. All right. Speaking of application, let's get down to applying the law of detachment. All right. Because we can't just talk about, like I said earlier, we can't just talk about the laws, but then we're not talking about how we apply these things, right? All right. So shoot, let me get it real quick. All right, because I think I got to go back a little bit. Yeah, there we go. All right. Okay. It says applying the law of detachment. Let me make sure I got this. All right. It says, I will put the law of detachment into effect by making a commitment to take the following steps. All right. It says, today I will commit myself to detachment. I will allow myself and those around me the freedom to be as they are. All right. I will not rigidly impose my idea of how things should be. Listen to what I'm saying now. But this ain't me. Listen to what I'm reading. Let me say it like that. Because I don't want people to think I'm coming up with something or whatever the case. This is information that is accessible to anybody. I will not rigidly impose my ideas on how things should be. I will not force solutions on problems. That don't come on, conscious community. Conscious community, are you there? Y'all in there? I will not force solutions on problems, thereby creating new problems. You see how this goes? That's why this what the people at the top want you to do. See, they using the law of detachment. They like, but I ain't finna create no problems. I'm just gonna sprinkle a little of this there, sprinkle a little of that over there, and see what happens. Let's see the reaction. Let's see what we can create today. They playing science. They Rick and Morty us. They Rick and Morty in us. They got the gun going through the all whatever we want it to be. That's what they doing. Until we start using the laws and principles, so we can come back the right way as the people. Nobody said. Well, let me say it like this: who told you that there will always be poor? Right? When poor is a mental mind state. There will always be poor mentally, but that don't mean you can't have money in your pocket. That don't mean you can't live comfortably. Just because you homeless don't mean you ain't got nowhere to go. Just because you ain't got no money to eat don't mean you can't get nowhere to go get something to eat. For just, hey man, I ain't got no money to eat. Hey bro, you get yeah, come on, we over here with it. All right, let me get back to it. All right. Thereby creating new problems. I will participate in everything with detached involvement. All right. That's the first one, y'all. Let's go into the second one. Today I will factor in uncertainty as an essential. There go that word again, essay, essential. Why is that important? Because in the last episode, if y'all didn't get it, it's on YouTube. All right. When we went into the meaning of being equals existence, right? Another word for existence, or a similar word for existence, is esse. Esse is a prefix for essential nature or essence, what we was hitting on earlier, right? Who we are, our true essence, right? So essential nature, let's get into it. Today, I will factor in uncertainty as an essential ingredient of my experience, right? In my willingness to accept uncertainty, solutions will spontaneously, emerge out of the problem out of the confusion, disorder, and chaos. Now, we see why it's important to detach as the conscious community? Because if we're not careful with the amount of information that we have access to, we can start having confusion, disorder, and chaos. And then in confusion, disorder, and chaos, we don't have clarity. So then we can't move in that fourth definition of consciousness, which is our meaning of consciousness, which is being deliberate and intentional. We stay in the fifth definition where what? We are directly perceptible to and under control of a person of concern. This is why this stuff is important. Understanding the application of these things, not just the laws. We can go out here and scream the laws to the rooftop. Cool. But whoever apply them the best with the most creativity is going to be the ones that's really living the life that they want to live. Right? Unconsciously or consciously. That means unaware of it or aware of it. Indirectly or directly. Meaning there's people out here that's living their best life that don't know nothing about the laws, but they're using them accordingly based on what they've been taught and what they see other people do. Because you don't have to call a law something, or you don't have to be aware of the law in order for the law to work for you. You just have to be aware of how to apply it. All right, so let's get back to it. The more uncertain things seem to be, the more secure I will feel, because uncertainty is my path to freedom. Through the wisdom of uncertainty, I will find my security. Through the wisdom of uncertainty. See, people don't tell you that there are different wisdoms. See, you go out here and get knowledge and information and think you're getting something. No. Laws and principles lie in wisdom, in truth. There is no, like, we say knowledge, but it's the knowledge, it's the information gathered that we know. So we package it up and that's knowledge. And we can deliver it as knowledge. But wisdom and truth, those different degrees, right? We already talked about relative truth, absolute truth. I went into one of my previous podcasts or my lives as well, is that there's a wisdom that you can get from fear. That's why it says in the Bible, the beginning of wisdom is the fear of God, the fear of the all, the fear of the unbound, the fear of the creator that ain't here no more, that the essence is inside you. For you to what? Be in this likeness, in this image, and be on this canvas to create. Without what? Attachment. That's why what? We pass on. That's why we won't be here. No matter if we live 2 years, 1,000 years, 2,000, 180, 70, 60, 50, however many you want to live. You ain't going to be here forever. Regardless, they want to go out here and be saying, oh, what's your reverse agent? It sounds good because people scary. Because they don't want to detach. They scared of uncertainty, right? They're using the fear side of uncertainty instead of the what? Wisdom of detachment, the law, using your laws, understanding that, okay, I can't take none of it with me, even my own body. All I can go is with what? My mental, my mind, to go wherever it is I'm trying to shoot towards, right? I'm trying to broadcast my signal to wherever the next channel it is that the creator might have created on its way to creating whatever it is that they create. I'm trying to tap into it all. Trying to tap into it all. Especially if I'm aware of it. All right. So the third one, let's get into this third one. All right. So the third one, it says, I will step into the field of all possibilities and anticipate the excitement that can occur when I remain open to an infinity, of choices. When I step into the field of all possibilities, I will experience all the fun, adventure, magic, mystery of life. Life is majestic. That's what they say. Life is purposeful. That's what they say. Life is an adventure. Life is a mystery. Life is a movie. Life is a video game. All those things I just said, you have video games just like it. You got movies just like it. We gotta start to understand, comprehend, and understand what life is. And if we are not deliberate and intentional in what we're doing in this game, this movie, this circus, whatever we want to call it, whatever form of entertainment you want to be, whatever character you want to be in the movie, right? But if we're not if we're not being deliberate and having intention in how we move and having discernment and detaching ourselves from the result, we just out here being programmed. We just another programmer. We just another bot, CPU. We just another side character in the matrix that's just walking, going to their whatever, doing whatever it is, right? So that's why it's important to be deliberate and intentional in how we move it as the conscious community. And then on top of that, once we put the law of detachment on top of there, then we can really start to achieve what we want to see, because we can start having fun with the information that we get. Right? We ain't got to be these so-called conspiracy theorists no more. Right? We can step into our true nature, and be infinite creators, nation builders. Right? Life achievers, life, whatever you want to be named. You can start creating your own languages. So many things that we can do that we'll sit here and wait for somebody else to do. There's so many things that we can create, and so many things that we can have fun, and so many people that we can come in contact with and meet. There's so many things that we can go do that's gonna make us uncomfortable, scary, that we don't know how it's gonna get done, that we can just go do to see if we can get it done. And just detach ourselves from it and just do the work in order to get there and have fun with life. Right? Nobody said, and like I said, the only thing is it did not just say it just fun, but it said also, let me get back real quick because I went back. It also said the fun, adventure, magic, and mystery of life. That's talking about fun, sad, crying, pain, going through this, going through that, negative, positive. You can experience the fullness, the wholeness of what you're supposed to experience in this realm that we're in this realm of infinite creativity. We can't experience the fullness of the realm, or when we experience the fullness of the realm, we can't be joyful about it because of the programming, of the distractions, right? So we just have to remember that, man, we just have to remember who we are. If I can put it, if I can just say it simple. So with that being said, that's going to be pretty much the end of the night. I will go back over this real quick, applying the law of detachment. All right. First one, today I will commit myself to detachment. I will allow myself and those around me the freedom to be as they are. I will not rigidly impose my idea of how things should be. I will not force solutions on problems, thereby creating new problems. I will participate in everything with detached involvement. Appreciate it. Peace. All right. It says today, I will factor in uncertainty as an essential ingredient of my experience. In me willing to accept uncertainty, solutions will spontaneously emerge out of the problem, out of the confusion, disorder, and chaos. The more uncertain things seem to be, the more secure I will feel. Because uncertainty is my path to freedom. Through the wisdom of uncertainty, I will find my security. All right. Now, last one. I will step into the field of all possibilities and anticipate the excitement that can occur when I remain open to the infinity of choices. When I step into the field of all possibilities, I will experience all the fun, adventure, magic, mystery of life. So, y'all, we got to detach ourselves. We got to detach ourselves. We got to detach ourselves. We got to understand who we are as the conscious community, as conscious beings, being deliberate and intentional, right? With responding with the surroundings that we are aware of. Because we can talk a good game, we can do all of this, but until we start implementing what we're talking about into society, we'll never really see the change or get to the process that we really want to, or get to the singularity or the society that we really want to see. Excuse me. Okay, so with that being said, y'all, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Y'all hanging out with me tonight. Like I always say, if any of the previous episodes you did not catch, I go live every night, 11:45 on TikTok. Okay. But if you didn't catch any of those previous episodes, they're on YouTube channel, the same as my TikTok at it's El Casino 777. And it's also at the Overthinker 777 on YouTube. Okay. So you can go and catch those previous episodes on there. Other than that, I will see y'all tomorrow. Saturday I will not be getting on. It's my birthday. So my wife, she's doing something for me, so I'll be hanging out on Saturday, but I'll probably come back on Sunday. We might do a 2-hour special on Sunday, so y'all be ready for that. Almighty, I love y'all too, man. Everybody out there, y'all be safe, be blessed, do the negative and the positive. Remember what we